Do you have a job interview coming up and are paralyzed with fear or uncertainty? Well, I've got 6 tips for you that will help you prep for success. And away we go. Hey guys, it's Josh with No Dad, No Problem, featuring how-tos, interviews, and reviews you can use. Today I'm going to be covering 6 tips for prepping for a job interview that will help maximize your chance of getting the job. Now, this video is particularly relevant for me because I actually just went through a company layoff where myself and 70% of my coworkers were let go. It's an unfortunate thing, but sometimes bad things happen to good people. So I dusted myself off, I freshened up my resume, I started looking for and applying for opportunities. I actually had several interviews and I found new employment within a week of my final day of work. My company was gracious enough to give us 4 weeks of notice, so we had plenty of time for the prep work, laid it all out. But alright, let's get to the tips. Number 1, dress appropriately for the job that you want. What do you mean I look sloppy in a t-shirt and basketball shorts and a week of facial stubble and messy hair? Okay, let's fix that. Alright, we are back and dressed for success. Now you should be dressed appropriately from the time you first pick up an application to when you drop it off, and then for the eventual interview. Now, appropriately dressed means different things based off the industry, but try to think of the way that the average employees are dressed and try to go one step above that. As a general rule, the safest bet is modest and business attire appropriate. But if you're going for a first job in something like food service or a grocery store, something along those lines, a pair of khaki pants, a polo shirt, and a clean pair of shoes that are in a neutral color should be sufficient. Just make sure that your clothes are clean and that they fit appropriately. Now, by dressing one step above, for me, that means I'll wear a tie for an interview, even if ties aren't the norm for the working environment that I'm applying for. But in my industry, button-up shirts are the standard. So again, taking it one step beyond the expectation sets the right example. Okay, step number 2, practice your introduction to your interviewer. Now, there are different types of interviews, but most commonly they will be in a one-on-one situation. Practicing your opening with a handshake and a smile will set the right tone for the interview. And I always make it a point to state the interviewer's name back to them. Let's pretend our interviewer's name is Mark. I'd say something like, "Hi Mark, thank you for your time and for this opportunity." Practice giving a firm handshake, but not overpowering, and making eye contact while you're doing it. Both of those are a sign of self-confidence, and often your body language will convey a louder message than your words actually will. Number 3, practice answering common interview questions. Now, you can search online and you can find lists of the 10 or the 50 or the 100 most common interview questions, but in reality, the questions are most likely going to be along the lines of, why did you apply to work at this company? And unfortunately, given the answer that I want to give, which would be, I guess, to make that cheddar, boy, is not an appropriate response. Be honest, though. Things like, I want to learn a new skill set, or I loved this restaurant growing up and I've always wanted to work here. Those are completely fine answers to give. Now, sometimes you are going to get questions that you don't know the answer to, and don't be afraid to admit that you don't know something. In instances like that, I actually have a response that I use when I don't know the answer to a question, and it goes something along the lines of, I'll be honest with you, I don't know, and I don't want to give you an answer that's false. I don't have all the answers, but I can assure you that when I don't know something, I will admit to it, and I'll make every effort to find out the answer. Now, personally, I like this answer because employers value honesty, and being truthful establishes trust. Step number 4, you're going to want to learn about the company and the job that you're applying for. Now, whether you're applying to be a fry cook or a job foreman, you should be familiar with the company's goals, their ethics, and their standards. Knowing these things, the goals, ethics, and standards, can help you tailor your answers to interview questions by adding key phrases like customer satisfaction or on-time project completion. Step number 5. In closing out the interview, leave on a positive note. Kind of do the exact same thing you did with the introduction. Shake hands again, maintain eye contact, and say something like, "Thank you for your time and this opportunity. I really appreciate them both, and I hope to hear from you soon." And lastly, and this may be the single most important part of all of this information that I'm giving you, is to be on time. In fact, be 10 minutes early. No employer dislikes an early employee, but showing up even 2 minutes late for an interview gives the wrong impression, and you only have one chance to make that first impression. So we'll quickly just go over the steps that we talked about. Number 1, dress appropriately. Number 2, practice your introduction. Number 3, practice answering common questions. Number 4, learn about the position in the company and the culture at the company. Number 5, practice your closing. And number 6, be on time. You can do this. I believe in you. Be well, be blessed, be loved, and have the best day ever.